Um, I can do it in 10 minutes if you want. I know that you want to go and get coffee. So let me share a couple of stories with you. I'm going to divide my talk into three sections. A little bit is the background about how I got started, what I did, how I became a serial entrepreneur. The other term would be actually accidental entrepreneur, because when I started out, unlike Anand, I had no illusions, and I graduated in 1971, by the way, so you will know what I mean. I worked for 9 years before I started my first company. So a little bit of background. There the term again. Okay. First thing you do, so let me tell you the story of how I became an entrepreneur. I worked for about 9 years in various companies. My first job was half a day. Next job was 6 months. I quit, by the way. Nobody threw me out. Next job was 2.5 years. Next job was 1.5 years. And then I lasted in a company for about 4.5 years. I was the happiest in that company because I was learning a lot. And then I went back and thinking about why did I stay in this company much longer than other companies. It turned out that I learned a hell of a lot more in that company than I did in any of the companies I was there before. So why did I leave? I was getting good salary, and I was in Bombay, and I was having a cushy life, and they sent me abroad for some training, and so everything was good. I was reading through a lot of literature, and one day suddenly I got an idea. So I ran up to my boss and said, "Boss, I have this idea. This will really solve the customer's problem." He said, "Really?" I said, "What kind of an idea is that?" And I said, "Yeah, this is something that will make this COBOL compiler faster or whatever." He just looked at me and said, "Yeah, but we don't do software. We are a company that sells computers from US in India. And so, that may be a good idea. It may solve customers' problems, but that is not the business we are in." I said, "Oh boy, so this is not the place to do it." So then I said, "Okay." So that was one angle. And then a couple of other things happened. And I got thrown out of my apartment in Bombay because the landlord thought he can get more money out of some other thing. And so I had to move from Ghatkopar to Bandup. So I said, "Hey, this is becoming a little tough. I think I need to get out of this place." Then a couple of my friends came to me and said, "Hey, how about starting a company?" I said, "Really? What does it mean?" He said, "Oh, we'll go and we'll work on your own. We'll continue to do what we're doing in this company. We'll make more money." I said, "Yeah, that sounds good. Let me think about it." I was married, had a kid, and the second kid on the way. 1980 November. So I thought I need to analyze the risk a little bit and figure out whether I really want to do it. So my analysis of risk ran like this. How much money am I making today? 2,900 rupees. This is 1980, right? Can I make that much of money if I start my own company? The answer was a resounding yes. "Yeah, I think I can." I said, "What the hell am I waiting for?" Got out. I moved from Bombay to Chennai, started my first company with a couple of partners. Of course, struggled with it for a couple of years. Then I started my second company. The first company was not a resounding success, but we did manage to make more money than what we did. Then I started working and was doing a lot of consulting work. I said, there is something interesting about entrepreneurship. First is, it tests some of your core skills. Second thing is, it lets you do a variety of things so that work is not boring. So as an entrepreneur, you sell, you market, you think about how to get the next line of, next bunch of business, how to keep the customers happy. So there is a variety of skills, and all of them are pretty interesting pieces of work to do. And then, of course, if you're a technology entrepreneur, you get to do quite a bit of technical work too. So I said, "Okay, this sounds good." So I'm going to, even if the first one was not all that great, I'm going to go and do the second one. So I went, and the second one was profitable in the first month. Break even in the first month, profitable in the second month. And I was doing extremely well. Then I said, there's a lot of work involved. Customer tells you to do something, you have to go and work for long periods of time. Then you give it, and then you get paid for it. This hard work. There must be a way to kind of repeat this stuff without doing so much. So I said, what if I created a product? This is 1983. So I started playing around with the concept of building a product. So then the story goes from there in different directions. You know, we built some products. I met up with a bunch of NRIs who came to India, wanted to start a company, so I kind of joined them. We sold some technology to a US company in '85, the first database engine that we built out of Bangalore. And then after that, you know, 5 years I shuttled back and forth between US and India. Finally, I moved to US in '90, and then we built and sold the company in '95 and worked for the company for a couple of years. Then I started my current company in '99. One confession, my current company is more a lifestyle company in the sense that I don't have a huge group or anything like that. I live in US for 6 months. I live in India for 6 months. I said at this stage, all I want to do is enjoy doing what I do and spend a lot of time on things that are not necessarily anything to do with money. So most of my talk is going to be based on that. So one of the hats I wear is what is called a product innovation mentor. Over the last 30 years, I built like about 25, 30 products. 5 of them were dismal failures. About 10 to 15 of them were like mediocre, made some money, broke even, did big work. But 1 or 2 of them were resounding successes. Like one went from $0 to $3 million in 1 year's time with almost no marketing budget. So I said, wow, there is something here. We can build products. And the other role, so I said, okay, I'm going to go and make a serious effort, and I'm going to go and evangelize building products. Okay. So that is the other hat I wear. I watch, I said, what is the difference between a really successful product and all these other stuff that we did? The major difference was whenever technology changes, there's a whole bunch of opportunities that are created. And, you know, Bala talked about Web 2.0, right? There's so many of these emerging technologies like cloud, mobile. So whenever there is a shift in technology, there are a whole bunch of opportunities created. So if you go look at some of those opportunities, then you can go and mine them, and you generate, if you're one of the leaders in the marketplace, you go and, you know, get a lot of opportunities. So that got me interested in watching the technology trends, and I'll lead up to where it is coming. So these are all the different hats I wear today. I'm part of NASSCOM, I'm part of TIE. I started something called the Startup SIG in TIE, you know, special interest group for startups. NASSCOM, as part of NASSCOM, I go around preaching products to various companies. Even service companies can use products to generate leads. So what does it have to do with education? So I'm asked to go and give talks. NEN has this thing called eWeek, and I got invited once to go and give a talk through TIE. So I went and talked to a bunch of students, and about 30 students. At the end of the talk, I mean, I didn't realize that these 30 students were from 15 different colleges. They came back and said, sir, can you come and give this talk to our college? And I said, okay, sure. I landed up in this college called KCG Technology. Normally when I give a talk, what I do is I test the students a little bit. So I do something like this. I said, take this smartphone. How do you take this smartphone and make it really, really easy for your grandpa to use? Have you ever seen a grandma or grandpa trying to make a phone call using a cell phone? You know, they have to go through the contact list and pick the contact. If you're lucky, you know, if you have an iPhone or something, you'll have some pictures and all that sort of stuff. If all they're going to do is make a call and disconnect a call, can you do something entirely different for the phone? Then I try out some other couple of variation of this. I said, how do you take this phone and make it very easy for your mom to use? Mom is doing 10 different things when she's talking on the phone. You know, what are the kind of replies that come back? I watch the students. I see what kind of interest level they have, what kind of enthusiasm they show, how they think. Kids are really smart. I mean, they have lots and lots of ideas. So first thing is that it gets them involved. They start talking about things. So once I start going through this process, you know, I identify a bunch of students and I said, okay, we'll do something there. So I'll come back to the story a little bit later and I'll lay some more groundwork on some of the lessons I learned. So I said, okay, this is interesting. You go to the students are pretty innovative. The industry needs people who have a lot of original thinking